Oh, hi there. Thought I would start today's YouTube video a little bit differently and put you guys on the tripod just to change things up a little bit. So, how to eat 1,750 calories without feeling hungry. Now, I had this idea and I ran it by Megan to see if she thought it was a good idea. And she said, yeah, I think people will be interested in it, but just make sure, you know, just be careful, because when you start talking about calories and how much food people should eat, you're kind of in dodgy territory. So what I do want to say is, I'm not saying that you should definitely eat exactly what I eat today, and I'm not saying that you should eat 1,750 calories. Everyone's requirement in terms of, my dog's about to bark. Everyone's requirements in terms of like macronutrients is completely individual, but basically I just thought you might be interested to see how I go about doing things. So I'm getting to the tail end of my cut now, and I'd say I'm in the end phase. So this is the lowest my calories have gone. My carbs are pretty near 100 grams, which is not a lot. My protein's still pretty high. And yeah, as I said, my calories are 1,750. And to be honest, I thought it would be a lot more difficult. I thought there would be periods of the day where I feel really hungry. I thought there would be periods of the day where I feel really low on energy and I had like no motivation for training. My strength has definitely decreased. I'm not even trying to lift heavy, to be honest, in the gym. But in all honesty, I haven't actually found it that hard. So I thought you guys might just be interested to see how I go about doing things. I'm not just going to talk about the food that I'm eating, I'm also going to run you by my general routine in terms of like what workouts I'm doing and my cardio. I'm going to try to give you any little tips just to help, the types of food you can eat which are going to help you not feel hungry, and yeah, that's it basically. So what I do is I do fasted cardio most days on an empty stomach. All I have is a black coffee, not even any milk. I do prefer coffee with milk in it, but yeah, I like to do fasted cardio, so I stay off the milk until later on in the day. Time is 10:41. I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna do half an hour on the Stairmaster. I was doing an hour block of cardio to start the day before, but I found that was taking a little bit too much time, and by the time I got on with my actual work, it was just a little bit too late. So I've split it up into 2 half-hour segments, one which I do earlier in the day, and then another which I'll stick on the end of my weight session. So yeah, let's go to the gym, do some fasted cardio. Look who it is! So I'm going to do half hour on this Stairmaster right now. I put it on level 7. That's just like a good level I find for kind of like a low intensity. Something that still gets the heart rate going. Definitely going to get a sweat on. Going to get out of breath. I can feel myself getting out of breath already. Just not too intense, so you've got some energy for later on when you do your heavy weight session. But yeah, so half an hour on this, and I'll see you back at home when I have my first meal of the day.
Oh my gosh, Blueberry, where will your food be?
Did you eat all your food? She's scratching her. Go and give her a carrot.
Did you feel your food?
Go and give her a carrot.
Wait. Got it.
So Bluebell gets a treat whenever she finishes her food. Is this tripod gonna stand? Yeah, first meal of the day is 3 whole eggs, 2 egg whites, scrambled, and then I have half of one of these Warburton's toasted muffins. I used to have a whole one, but I've cut it down to just half to cut on the calories and cut on the carbs, which may seem like a little bit kind of pedantic and a little bit complicated, but you will have to make cutbacks. I'm not, this video wasn't going to be me saying like you can eat whatever you want and as much as you want and you're still going to make progress. You will have to cut back on some things, but this breakfast is very sufficient anyway. Like 5 eggs, or 3 eggs and 2 egg whites is sufficient to me, and I'll even chuck in a little bit of tomato ketchup. I guess if you were like a really serious bodybuilder prepping for a show, you wouldn't have ketchup, but like that's kind of where I draw the line with things like that. I'm not that fussed. I'm still making the progress that I want to make, and yeah, so that's my breakfast. So you're back on the tripod. I've been doing editing for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, having my second coffee of the day with a splash of oat milk. Makes it so much better. I wanted to talk about the first tip, my first tip for you guys of the day. I did actually want to give you some concrete tips that maybe like you can write down, write it in your little note section in your phone, and then that way it's easy for you guys to implement it into your routine. So the first tip is water. I never used to really measure or control how much water I was having every day, but water is extremely important. So this is 1.5 liters, so I actually get through 2 of these a day, which I think is sufficient. I think that's a good amount of water to have each day. I haven't actually researched how much I should get, but that seems good to me. Yes, it's a plastic bottle, but I have been using this one for like 2 weeks, so don't get on my back for using plastic. It's not well, it is single use, but it's not, because I've used it more than once. But yeah, water is so good. I did actually Google like the benefits because I wanted some scientific proof, and I just said, does water help weight loss? It says yes, drinking water helps boost your metabolism, cleanse your body of waste, because it's a diuretic, which basically means it makes you wee a lot, obviously, and it actually acts as an appetite suppressant. So if you're not in the habit of drinking enough water each day, that would be my first tip for you. Get on it, get water, get something that you can measure, so you have the same bottle every day and you can refill it, and then that way you know how much water you're having in each day. Anyway, I'm gonna prepare my second meal of the day and I'll show you what I'm having. So another little tip, to keep your calories low, you want to avoid calorie dense foods. So basically things that are high in fat, usually, like for instance olive oil. Instead of olive oil, I will use this olive oil spray, which is like 1 calorie per spray. You've probably seen me using that before. You'll notice with carbs, I tend to favor like things like potatoes over pasta, because pasta is more calorie dense. So in terms of the actual volume, the amount of food you're gonna get more potatoes than pasta for the same amount of calories, and you're gonna feel more satiated because you're eating more potatoes. Pasta is really great, it's really nice, but yeah, it's quite high in calories for the amount of volume you get. So that's just something to bear in mind. Try to stay away from really calorie dense foods, and you'll find that you get more volume and you will therefore be fuller and go hungry less. In terms of like the individual macro breakdown, so like in terms of like fat, protein and carbs, obviously my carbs have gone way lower than they were before. My fat's quite low, but you do still need about at least 50 grams of fat, I'd say, per day if you're on 1,750 calories. But the protein, try and keep that as high as you possibly can. In terms of like the amount of meat I eat, it hasn't really gone down at all since being on this cut, because you still want to get that protein in for your muscles. And also things like chicken is not so calorie dense. So if we're talking about calorie dense foods, like beef is more calorie dense. So try to stay on chicken basically. Chicken's the best. And finally, before I eat this meal, you need to find seasoning or like some kind of flavor which is gonna taste good, obviously. So I actually love this Nando's piri piri sauce, and I don't track this, but I mean for 20 grams, for one 20 gram serving is 10 calories. And I don't, it's almost too good to be true, this piri piri sauce, because it tastes so good, it makes the chicken so good. But it's so low in calories and it's low in fat, so I don't know. I guess if I was a really strict bodybuilder, you probably would stay away from things like this. But as I said, similarly to the ketchup, I want to have good taste in my food still. If I don't have this, I'll have this jerk seasoning, which is probably a little bit cleaner, but it's a little bit drier. But yeah, so find some flavors that you really like cooking with that are not high in calories or fat, and go with them. So that's 150 grams of chicken breast, 125 grams of wild brown basmati and wild rice, and then a handful of mange two. So I'm not really going to account for the mange two in my macros, but I will account for the chicken and the rice. As you can see, that's the size of this portion is fine. Like, that is a good portion to me. Maybe I would have like slightly more rice if I wasn't cutting, but I will feel full and satiated after this meal. So if you thought that cutting had to be loads of like little small meals where you don't feel full after you've eaten them, I think you're mistaken. That's what I thought anyway. So I was mistaken. But I'm gonna eat this. I might have another meal before I go to do legs, or I might not. I have to wait in for a delivery for Megan. So it depends when she gets back, but I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. Blimey, it's busy. So I had a slight change of plan and I actually went to go see my friend Sam in the park because, as you can see, the sun came out and I wanted to get out. So still gonna go train legs now, but I'm getting a little bit peckish. So I'm gonna go see what Whole Foods has to offer in terms of protein bars, get some carbs in me, get some sugar in me before my workout. And I need to look for something there which is high in protein but not too high in carbs. Per serving, 22 grams of carbs in that one, 10 grams of protein. See if I can get something a bit better. So this one's called a Bounce Protein Energy Ball. The macros are 190 calories, 11 grams of protein and 17 grams of carbs. I think that's about the best I'm gonna get. And hopefully if I scan the barcode, MyFitnessPal will recognise it, so yeah. This ball's actually pretty nice. And one other little tip which I wanted to give you guys, sorry I've got loads of shit in my hand. Because I added up my macros earlier, it has enabled me to eat this and know that I'm not going to go over my calories. Because I basically planned out what I'm going to eat for the whole day. And you can do like the night before or the morning of. That way, you know, you can plan out your meals so you're not going to miss any meals. And then also if you need to add in snacks, you can plan for that too. So that's another little tip. Plan out your macros ahead of time so you don't get caught out. I'm not so worried about the weight that I'm pushing at the moment because my calories are so low, so your strength naturally goes down. So I'm more worried about longer sets, shorter rest times to keep the heart rate going, and yeah, just keep active, get a nice sweat on. Leg workout done, it's pretty good. Probably would have chucked carbs in at the end on a normal day, but because it's getting a bit late and I need to do half an hour on this Stairmaster, I'll do carbs tomorrow or something. So yeah, so half an hour on the Stairmaster, and I'm gonna go home and eat. I'll show you what I'm eating at home. So who said that cutting had to be full of boring and plain meals and small portions? So here's 200 grams of chicken thigh fillets, switching it up a little bit from the chicken breast, some more mange two, and then 250 grams of potatoes, and I made them into wedges. Mange two is like this, similar to a sugar snap pea. Say hello, Megan. Hey. Hello. So I'm gonna absolutely devour this. I've got 2 meals left for today. I'm gonna eat this and watch Love Island, which by the way, Megan forces me to watch every single day.
You're a liar.
It's alright to be a guy and watch Love Island if your girlfriend watches it. That's the rule. Yo, so time for my final meal, final savoury meal anyway of the day, and it looks a little bit pathetic. I probably should have put it on a smaller plate. It's just 150 grams chicken breast, peri-peri sauce, and then a handful of asparagus. I don't know why I picked it up then. That was to demonstrate how much big a handful is, because it seems like a bit of an ambiguous quantity. Yeah, I've only started having meals without carbs since I've been doing the cut. Maybe I could have like halved the amount of potatoes I had in my last meal, but I prefer to get like a big meal of carbs. Just get the stomach nice and full and then have that later on. It's nice and light. Sometimes I have a salad and that works pretty well. I did actually ask you guys to write in some questions related to the topic of this video, so I'm just going to go through some now and answer them. I'm going to try to keep it quite quick. So this person, Julia, thank you Julia. Do you think it's right to say that no matter which foods you eat, as long as you're in a deficit, you're going to lose fat and weight? Well, it's definitely a fact. Like, the less you eat, the more likely you are to lose weight. So if you're in a deficit, you will lose weight, but it's not just about how much you weigh and how much fat you're losing, it's also about your body composition and how much muscle you have. So I'd say try it, and it's not even just about that, it's also about being healthy and feeling great as well. So try and eat healthy. Yeah, just try and eat as healthy as you can. Lots of like good protein, good carbs and veggies. I definitely recommend that. Do you know anything about metabolic confusion? I don't, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe I should research it. How to make sure you're getting the correct amount of calories and not just filling up on empty calories. So I guess empty calories would be like, well, I know beer for one is like really like high in carbs and calories, and you literally don't get any nutrition from that, obviously, but you do get drunk, which is good sometimes. Just as I said earlier, make sure you're eating good carbs like rice, potatoes. Make sure the carbs that you do choose, you're getting high volume for the amount of calories. And then just, yeah, good food choices, I guess. How do you keep this goal and stay consistent while also allowing yourself to be social and drink? How do you stay on track in situations like family situations? Well, to be honest, like I can't really sit here and say, oh, I'm like the most disciplined person ever, because I went to Jamaica for a week, for instance, stayed pretty strict during like the first half of the holiday, went to the gym, tried to make good food choices, but then towards the end I just relaxed, was drinking, didn't really go to the gym. So man, it depends how serious you are about it. The thing is, if you want to be a competitive bodybuilder, you have to be really serious about it, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere in shows. But if you're not competing, I don't really see the point in being so strict. At the end of the day, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. So if you want to be like 6% body fat, look absolutely shredded and jacked, then yeah, like you need to stay really strict. Don't go to family things, just remove yourself from that situation. But for me, I'm way more relaxed than that, and I would prefer to be able to enjoy social situations like that. I don't know, maybe later in life if I want to compete or something. I don't think I will, but say I do want to compete, then I would have to make those sacrifices. How to stop craving for sweets / carbs? I don't know really. I don't know if I crave sweet things that much naturally. As you'll see for my final meal, which I will show you in a bit, I do kind of have a sweet meal to end the day, which might not actually be the best thing. I don't really know. I guess fill up on non-sweet things and allow yourself enough carbs and time them throughout the day so you don't end up craving those things. I think cravings is just quite individual from person to person. So yeah, that was like maybe what, 4 or 5 questions. So hopefully that helped any of your queries, if any of you guys had them. I'm going to eat this meal and then I'll show you what I'm having for my final meal of the day. So the final meal of today is 200 grams of Greek yogurt, a scoop of My Protein Vanilla Impact Whey, commission link in the description box below, and this fruit syrup which is made by Sweet Freedom, which is really good, and I think I've showed you this before. 13 calories per teaspoon, and this is what it looks like. And that's just a nice little way to end the day. Now I'm gonna go in this room, see what my beautiful, beautiful girlfriend's up to. You've been a bit shy today on this video.
I haven't been in it.
Yeah, we've been out, we've been doing different things today. Don't natter on too long because I want to keep this very short.
I'm not going to natter, I've learned
How are you doing?
my own vlog, but I shouldn't do that anymore.
It's easy to do it though. How are you doing? How was Love Island and how was your dinner?
Love Island was great.
Tell everyone what you had for dinner.
Dinner I had Bodine's takeaway.
Yeah, which I always wanted to get as a takeaway, and she always refused.
I would have got it if he wasn't filming this video.
Yeah.
He had to keep on track.
Actually, I wouldn't have, because I want to be super strict before holiday. So we're going on holiday in 2 days, and this cut was kind of, the goal was to be cut for this holiday. So got to be strict on the home straight. What?
I've been a bit of a fail.
No, you haven't. You're fine. So there you go. You can see that. I can't read what the number says back. 1,727 calories, 116 grams of carbs, so I did say 100 grams of carbs, but who cares, 47 grams of fat, and 202 grams of protein. that's pretty good. Now I do want to say, like, this is like an ideal day for me. I'm not saying that I've done this every single day of the cut. Also, I kind of blocked out this whole day in order to film this video, and I understand people's lifestyles are a lot different to mine. They have to go to work and stuff, so doing what?
They have to go to work.
Well, okay, people that have, like, you know, have to do shift jobs or whatever. I mean, that's what I mean. It would be.
Work.
I work, yeah. Shut up. I'm trying to keep it quick. I work. No, but this is work for me. This is what I'm saying. But people who have to do different jobs, you wouldn't be able to go and do like a cardio session in the morning and then a cardio session in the evening. So I understand that. Also, what I want to say is I'm calling this a cut, but as I said, I'm not a bodybuilder and I'm not aiming to get like 3% body fat. This is just what I found works for me, and also it's my first ever cut, so I probably made loads of mistakes. If I have, then let me know. Yeah, because I'm always looking to improve. Just before I say goodbye, I wrote down all of my tips in my notes. So I put drink water.
Good one.
Drink lots of water. Fast if you can. So if you can, hold off before eating your first meal. Hold off a few hours in the day. It's going to mean that the rest of your meals are less far apart, so you'll have less time to go hungry. Cut back on calorie dense foods like oils, and yeah, we talked about that earlier. Find flavors that you really like that are low calorie, so for instance the peri peri sauce or the jerk seasoning, and plan out your macros ahead so you don't trip up and you don't get to the end of the day and you're like, oh, I've gone over my calories, or I've gone under, or yeah, stuff like that. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. The next video you will see is going to be a Bali vlog. We're both extremely excited, aren't we?
Yes.
Can't wait. So yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Bye. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Goodbye.